Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, I got a little package in the mail here today from a Mr. Peter ZILA. Peter does industrial welding and repair in Wisconsin. He also has a YouTube channel, ZILA. He does welding videos. I was responding to a comment in the comment section a few days ago about me taking some interest in some dual flux core welding, and not certain whether or not the machine that I have, the Everlast Power iMake 205, had enough amps to run that. Well, he responded back to me in an email. I got back with him and we had a good phone conversation, and he assured me that I can in fact run that with 35 thousandths wire. As a matter of fact, he said he happened to have a partial spool on his shelf. He'd be glad to send it out my way for me to give it a try before I jumped in and you know, got all rigged up and found out that it did or didn't work. So I got this package from him today, but I'm a little concerned because a partial 10-pound spool of wire is maybe a little less than 10 pounds. If this box right here, I'm telling you right now, is a lot heavier than 10 pounds. As a matter of fact, it actually says heavy on the package right here. So I'm anxious to take a look and see what's inside. Don't really know what it could possibly be because I was anticipating just a partial spool. And okay, well, we've got some, looks like some sample welding here of at least some 1/2-inch plate that he has. It looks like he has done probably the dual shielded flux core on there, cut it in half to show me the penetration value. At least that's what it looks like here. And it's got a couple of those. And that's and here's a bigger one. All right, that's pretty cool. And it looks like he's actually included some welding tips for the MIG welder. I haven't looked at these. I don't have my right glasses on, but I'm assuming these are 35 thousandths. That's pretty cool. Oh, and it looks like we got a shirt here as well. All right, there it is. ZILA Industrial Repair, pretty cool. And yes, indeed, not one, but two boxes, and these aren't partial boxes. This is Lincoln Outer Shield 71M, 35 thousandths. This looks like a full box, and yet another full box, two full boxes. Wow, that's really cool. Thanks a lot, Peter, I really appreciate that. Well, I think we should give this stuff a try, so let me get a spool of this hooked up on the welder, and I happen to have a welding project right here on the table that's going to require some welding, and I was just going to stick weld this, so now this is going to be a good opportunity to try this dual shielded flux core, so let's do it. Okay, so I've changed the spool of wire out, and we've now got the dual shielded flux core on here, and I got to say that was just as simple changing this out as it would to just a regular spool of wire. This stuff went nice and cleanly through the liner, and everything is good in that department right there. So let's get that done, and then I want to show you some settings. We're going to go ahead and adjust the settings to what I was told to start at anyway, and see how it welds. So let's go ahead and turn the machine on. All right, so my last setting was about 18.5 volts, about 275 or so on the wire feed speed. So they're telling me when you run this dual shielded flux core, somewhere between 26 and 29 volts. So we're gonna go ahead and crank this up. Okay, so max on my machine is 26 volts. That's all I can get here. And they said that the wire feeds somewhere around 500 or 550. So let's just crank that up to, I don't know, let's just start at about 520 and see what that does. They also said that we need to crank the CFH up here to about 40. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, there that is. I'm a little excited here. I've never ran this stuff. All right, so we've got our settings to where they think they should be. So let me get my gear on and let's give this thing a whirl. Okay, so I got my jacket on, my hood, my gloves here, and I got everything is on and ready to go. Peter had sent me over these, it looks like 1/2-inch plate samples right here, all sliced and diced up. What a beautiful, nice weld right here on this thing. And you know, I've never welded with dual shielded flux core, and if it puts down a weld like that, that's awesome. I've been welding a lot of thick plate lately and doing multi-passes with a stick welder, and that takes a lot of time. And if I can accomplish the same thing with dual shielded flux core, that'd be awesome. Now, granted, this is only 200 amp machine, and I've got it maxed at 24 or 26 volts, but we'll give it a try and see see how it does. I happen to have some 1/2-inch plate right here left over from that massive bracket build I did a few weeks ago. So here it is. Let's give it a shot and see how she does. Wow, that was so smooth. I can't believe how smooth that was. Check that out. All right, I'm going to bring the camera in, and this is my first time at this right here. I haven't chipped off any of the slag right now, but I'm gonna bring the camera in. We'll take a look at this. We'll chip the slag off together, and I'll show you what this looks like. But I can tell right now, just looking at this thing, that's amazing. Okay, so I hope you can see that right there. It's kind of tough for me to see, but so here it is. This is my first time ever with the dual shielded flux core. I'm going to take this flux and take it off and see what she looks like. Wow. Now, that is pretty clean. I got to say, let me get a white finish on that. Okay, well there it is, man. That's pretty clean. I gotta say, for the first time I ever used it, now maybe the settings I might have to do a little bit of adjustment, but I'm telling you what, that's gonna save me a lot of time. Okay, so I hope you guys checked that out. That was pretty awesome. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but that was the very first time I ran that, and that's very clean. And I don't know if it's just the process itself. I don't really know. But I'm going to run one more across the other side of this piece of 1/2-inch plate right here, and then we'll conclude with some comments. Let's do it. Wow. I got to say, that is probably the most smoothest process that I have done. That is amazing. I may have welded my last MIG wire. I may never go back. It might be flux core from this point on. I don't know. There it is. That's amazing. So I just want to, okay, so I want to say the first time out I maxed the machine at 24 volts and at 520 inches a minute, and I'm at 40 CHF, and I don't know if it can get any better. This runs absolutely perfectly smooth, and it looks like a very nice weld. I don't even know if the adjustments can be any better with this type of machine right here. So anyways, thank you so much, Peter ZILA, for sending me out the wire and giving it a try. And if you guys have never done dual shielded flux core, I suggest you give it a try if you have the machine. It's a very awesome process. I'm going to be welding a couple pieces of rebar on this these pipe ballers for a parking lot here, and I'm going to be using this. I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for more videos.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.